Changing the conversation is about focusing on the client, having a conversation that's client-centric, and helping them understand that we can help them solve a problem that they have today.
Welcome back. I'm delighted to have Dean Kelly with me, the deal mechanic. Hi, Dean.
Thank you very much for having me again, John.
Look, Dean, it's great to have you back, and there's some things I really wanted to drill down on our previous conversations. And one is you use the words a lot, change the conversation. And I know, a lot of people talk about challenging and so on and so forth. What do you mean? What's the philosophy behind change the conversation for you?
Philosophically and traditionally, salespeople turn up and talk about themselves or their product. So to me, change the conversation is flipping that on its head and making the entire conversation focused on the client, with two objectives in that meeting. Number one, to help the client understand that we have some solution understanding or some business understanding of problems they are facing. And secondly, at the end of that conversation, that we are equipped with the capability to help them solve that. So if you want to do that successfully, it's not by throwing that information at them. It's more by having a conversation where you can lead them to that realization. So effectively, changing the conversation is about focusing on the client, having a conversation that's client-centric, and helping them understand that we can help them solve a problem that they have today.
Now, a lot of us talk about that. Selling's not telling, selling is listening, all that sort of stuff. You're talking about that from a philosophical point of view?
Not only philosophically, at the same time, it's taking the philosophy into action and actually doing it with a client. So there's talking the talk, and then there's walking the walk. So it's about both things, understanding it and knowing the internal conversation we have to have with my manager, or my manager's conversation with me, that is going to gear me up to have the appropriate sales conversation or change that customer conversation. And then there's me in front of the client having the appropriate conversation. So there's both sides to it.
You use the word change. You're saying change the conversation.
Yes.
So the word change from your point of view is changing the way we talk to the customer, talk with the customer. I see it as something where we can help the customer through a thought process.
Yes, it's helping the customer through a thought process. It's helping the customer understand that we have value and maybe have solved these problems previously.
So you might want to take the customer down a particular path in their thinking?
There may be some of that. There may be even just helping them understand some of the pitfalls of the way they're thinking, or some of how they can avoid various challenges that are out there in the marketplace, or with solutions and solving the solutions various ways.
I mean, you mentioned pitfalls in the way they're thinking, but before you do that, you have to find out
correct
what
how
they are thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And what kind of solutions they're looking at, how important is the problem. And again, it's coming back. One of the big pieces of information out at the moment is that around 50% of deals that are forecast to close often are lost to do nothing.
Right.
Now, that problem at the end is actually a symptom of a problem at the beginning, which is poor qualification. So the objective behind changing the conversation is to help the salesperson better qualify the opportunity with that client.
To determine whether there's enough value for the customer, and whether it's going to be compelling enough for them to do something about it.
And being fully prepared to walk away if there's not.
Yes.
Thank the client and say, hey, I really don't think we can help you here.
And in doing so, we'll still have created some value for the customer.
Absolutely.
So the door's open the next time you
come back in. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's change the conversation. That's the philosophy, if you like, change the conversation. What I'd like to do is spend some time talking about how you do that. Would you come back and have another chat?
Certainly would.
Look forward to it, Dean.
Thank you, John.